And hello again, and welcome to another edition of Panther Pride here on TV 24. I'm Mickey Shadricks, joined by Wellborn head coach Jeff Smith as we talk Wellborn football. 2 weeks into the season, the Panthers dropped their home opener Friday night to the Sacs Wildcats by a final score of 38-14. Coach, let's jump right in. We talked about this game last week. Sacs out of Class 4A. They've got a lot of talent back this year, very experienced team. You knew that it would be another big challenge. North Jackson was a big challenge in week 1, and Sacs presented their own unique challenge in week 2. Talk about the game.
Well, first, Sacs has got a very good team. And, at one time in the game, they had 9 seniors on defense. And we were out there with 8th, 9th, and 10th graders literally out there going against those 8 seniors. And you know what? We have some young players on the team this year. And, again, we got to be patient, let them mature, and they're getting better every week. And maybe the score didn't show it on the scoreboard this week and everything, but we got better from the North Jackson game to this Sacs game, and we'll continue to improve this next week.
It was really, you knew when the schedule came out, this was a very tough way to start the season. North Jackson in week 1 and Sacs in week 2. Both teams presented different challenges, didn't they? North Jackson, big physical football team that your kids had to stand up against. Meanwhile, Sacs, they like to spread the field. They've got that dual threat quarterback who can run and throw. A completely different challenge from week 1 to week 2.
Oh, absolutely. Yes, North Jackson had a lot of size and very physical, but now Sacs has got a lot of size too. Sacs has got the complete package. They're very good offensively, defensively, got good size, good speed, and got a wonderful kicker too. He can kick it in the end zone every time he kicks off.
And before we go to break and come back with highlights, talk about playing at home and the atmosphere out at the Hill.
Well, and that was another thing that we had to do this week. One, we try to make our home games an event. That's the time that we can really show our community off. We have our cheerleaders, our band, our football team, and we have a lot of people that are regulars that come to the home games and everything, and it's an intense atmosphere. We played the spring game and we played the first ball game at Jacksonville State, which was great venues, but now there's no place like playing at the Hill, on Friday night. Again, I've said this before, and I'll say it again, no community lives or dies more on Friday night than Wellborn.
It is quite an atmosphere out at the Hill at Wellborn High School, and we're going to see some of that in these highlights coming up in just a moment. We'll take a break and continue with first half highlights of Wellborn and Sacs right here on Panther Pride. And we are back on Panther Pride, and Coach taking the field out at the Hill for your home opener.
Very exciting. We have a great crowd, a great home crowd, and a lot of support. Just exciting to be back at home and play. They came out and they had a very good first series right here. They ran a zone read right there, and Javion stayed at home right there and had a good play on the quarterback. They started to throw right here, completed a pass, but we broke up on it and had a good stop. Here, they came up here and they got us on their zone replay right there, and the quarterback got in. We just ended up taking the wrong man. You see our scoreboard right there. We're getting a new scoreboard, and it didn't come in this week because of all the weather, and we'll have it in next week. Here, we're back in own territory and threw an interception, and then we came up here with a big stop on defense. You see Jet running to the ball there and Austin right there, and we had a big stop against Sacs here and got the ball back, and we're having a great drive to move the ball down the field. So the first quarter ended, it was 7-0, and we come back out here and had a good fake here and broke our fullback up the middle here and ended up scoring, and we tied the game here. The kid kicked the extra point. We went up 7-7. Sacs, of course, has got a very talented team. Again, they've got a lot of seniors playing, a lot of juniors. They're a junior-senior football team, actually. They only have one sophomore that started for them. And they respond back here. We're hanging on there. Also makes basically a touchdown saving tackle. They get down to the 1 yard line. We make a big hit right there, and they fumble. And there's a 9th grader, Contreras Hunt, coming up on the ball right there, and we held them on the 1 yard line. We punted it out of our end zone. They got it back, And then they drove it back down here, and they kicked the field goal, and they got a great kicker. And the problem with him, he's a junior, so they'll have him back. And they went up 10-7 on us right there with 5:28 left in the half. We got a first down, had to punt, and then they got the ball back again, and got that dual threat quarterback that's very good. And they came back here, and you see we're running to the ball, and we're hitting good and everything, but you know they're talented. Here the quarterback kept here on a keeper here, and we missed the tackle, and he got in the end zone, and they went up on us 17-7 right here with 3 minutes to go in the half. We drive the ball out. We drive the ball out here and get some good first downs here, and moving the ball here. Javion again has a good run here on a trap play that we ran out of shotgun and got the ball down in the Sacks territory right before the half. And here we throw one up here, and they pick it off here with like 5 seconds to go, and we tackle him here, and they have a clip here, and then it's halftime.
And there you see the halftime score. Sacks up 17-7. Would have been nice to have gotten some points there going into the locker room at halftime, but you were unable to do so. But still, anybody's game here at halftime, Coach.
Oh, absolutely. And we had played well now. A lot of those highlights don't look like we played well, but at the time we were mixing up with them really well. And again, they're different from us. They've spread the field. They've got a lot of athletes, a lot of older kids. And for us to play with them, what we had to do was control the game as far as the clock and make first downs and keep the ball from them. And I guess you would say the first quarter and a half, we were able to do that, but right there the last 5 minutes of the second quarter, they got away from us. And that's a critical time in a game. It's 5 minutes before half and 5 minutes coming back out of the half, and they won both of those times.
All right, we'll come back with second half highlights in just a moment. Also have our first installment of our player spotlight for the year coming up later in the show. But as we go to break, here's the Welborn Band from Friday night. And we continue now on Panther Pride. You're kicking off to them, Coach, here to begin the second half, trailing 17-7.
And we ground kicked it because they got very good returns, so we were not going to let them have a return on us. Here, they come back offensively. You can tell we're running to the football. We're getting after it. Here, they pulled like a little zone read pass out of it right there, and they got it out there, blocked their corner. Here, again, one of their good backs they have, he's making a good run here. Walker Hayes had 13 tackles for the game. He played very good and was our defensive player of the week this week too. The 5 minutes before the half ended, in the first 5 minutes of the third quarter is when we didn't play well, and that's how the game got away from us. The rest of the time, I thought we played pretty well. Here, they get a good pass here. We got a freshman quarter, Calvin Spanks, who's going to be a phenomenal football player for us. It really, actually, besides that play, played very well in the game. And of course, they get in their score. So they go up 31-7 right here. And this is the time I'm talking about. They've got 9 senior starters on defense, and right now we're playing with 4 freshmen and 4 10th graders on offense here. Austin McQueen, our quarterback, runs a good bootleg pass right here. Bootleg run here, and we go into the fourth quarter, 31-7. Here you see Jet here. He has a nice run here. Again, just a freshman. And here we come up here and throw a pass in the end zone here and get a score right there. And McQueen throws the ball there to Jet right there, and we kick an extra point. And I wish we'd have showed our extra point then, because our guy that kicked the extra point was a freshman too. And we went up, the guy scored and went 31-14. They come back here. This is probably about, I don't know, 4 minutes left in the game right here, and they get it in here and get another score on us. It's coming up right here. They score and get in the end zone on us right here and make it 38-14 with 2 minutes left in the game. We come back here, and Javion Thomas has a good run here, and we're moving the ball down the field. Now, Coach Miller has got a good football team and a good staff, and they've done a good job with them right there. And we wish them well, and hopefully they'll have keep on what they're doing, have a good season, and we can learn from our mistakes and fix it. And now we get into region play.
All right, there you see your final score. Sacs winning the game 38-14, and region play is coming up. We'll be talking about that in just a few moments. But, Coach, let's finish up our business from the Sacs game and take a look at your player awards for the week.
Okay. Well, our scrambler was Mason Yates. He's a senior. He's the only senior we have on our offensive line. And, again, he hadn't played since he was in 8th grade, so he's learning, but he had a good game. Our racehorse was a tie between Jamyron Curry and Jet Smith. Jamyron graded 80 and scored a touchdown, and Jet had graded 96 and received a touchdown pass. Our headhunter was a tie between Walker and Jet. Both of them had 13 tackles apiece. Jet was a big hog award winner right there. Our pancake block was Calvin Spinks, who I mentioned earlier right there. Is just a freshman, plays wingback and a cornerback, and is going to be, like I said, a very good football player for us. Hardest hit was Jamyron Curry as a senior defensive lineman. Meanest Panther was Calvin Spinks right there. That one pass that he gave up was really the only bad play he had in the game. The rest of the time he played very well. The 12th man was Jet, who punted the ball again very well for us right there. He's been getting a lot of height on the ball and keeping us from having returns on us. Our offensive player of the week was Jamyron Curry, and our defensive player of the week was Walker Hayes.
All right, Coach, 2 tough losses to start the season against 2 quality opponents. How's your team feeling?
Well, they were down by losing. I mean, they don't like to lose. And, again, with us being as young as we are, those young guys that we have aren't used to losing. But, since going back to last year's season ending, we knew we were going to be young this year. And you can approach it 2 different ways. We could try to play down and let them get some wins that way, or we could play tough opponents and get them better to try to compete to win the region championship. And we opted for the second one. We played Alexandria in the Spring Jam, very good team. They're ranked number 4 in 5A at this time. Then we played North Jackson the first ball game, who only lost to Coleman this week right here, but I think it was like 10 points. Or maybe 8 points, in which Coleman is a 6A and they're 4A. And then we played Sacs, who will be ranked in 4A, I'm sure, this week coming up, who's got a fine football team. So we played 3 very good teams since last season, and we've came out of it pretty much, without a lot of injuries. And now we start reaching play this week, and it's got to help us, and we're looking forward to it.
And we're also looking forward to our first installment of our Player Spotlight. That's coming up next. And Coach and I will be back to talk about the region opener this Friday night as we continue with more right here on Panther Pride. And we'd like to thank one of our sponsors, Wise Environmental Solutions. Wise Environmental Solutions in Oxford is a leader in the field of enhanced waste collection and resource recovery services. Wise offers a variety of services for residential, business, and government customers, including portable restrooms and restroom trailers for special events or construction sites. Wise also offers dumpster rental services when you need some extra capacity for home remodeling, yard projects, and more. They even offer tent rentals for weddings, corporate events, or parties. All rental services include professional delivery and pickup and setup and takedown. All rentals are clean and well maintained and available at reasonable prices. You can call them at 256-832-7867 or visit them online. Proudly serving Calhoun, Etowah, Jefferson, St. Clair, and Talladega counties. And back on Panther Pride, and time now for our first installment of our Player Spotlight for the season. This week, Gerhard Mathangani takes a closer look at Welborn player Javion Thomas.
Each high school football season brings a unique set of challenges and different players to answer the bell. One of the Panthers called upon this season is running back and linebacker Javion Thomas. The senior got his final season started off with a bang, scoring all 3 touchdowns in the Panthers' debut against North Jackson.
My mindset going into the North Jackson game was giving my all for the team, for the sake of the team, putting my selfish reasons aside and giving what I needed to give them on the field.
He had a good spring training, and he had a good summer workouts, and then a good preseason. And look, he was mighty sick last week. Monday and Tuesday, he didn't even practice because he had strep throat and had it bad too. I mean, where he ran a high fever and everything else, and was able to get back and practice Wednesday and then play like he did on Thursday. It says a lot about him and his character, and wanting to get out there and play.
As one of the upperclassmen, Thomas says leadership has been strong, and it all started in the offseason.
But all season coming off as a junior, the seniors, we knew we had to step up and have better leadership than what we had last year. So we made that the first priority in order to lead this team. And, we got a lot of younger guys that's stepping up, having to start and stuff like that. So we just wanted to lead by example and show them the right way to do things so that we have a successful season.
Thomas says he is now ready to take the lessons he's learned over the years and apply it to his new role as a team leader.
I've seen that I've become more of a affirmative leader. I'm more talkative. I try to lead by example. I try to keep their spirits up. Coming off a loss, it'd be tough on some of the younger guys. And I want to let them know that it's just one game and it's always room for improvement.
He's one of those that leads by example. He's going to get out there and do the best he can, and lead by the example that he puts out there on the field.
For this week's player profile on the Panther Pride, I'm Gerhard Mathangani.
Well, Coach, Javion Thomas does a whole lot for you. As Gerhard talked about in the game against North Jackson, he scored every point, all 20 points for your team. I know you really like this. You like this young man.
Absolutely, and I've had him since he was in the 7th grade, and to see him grow and develop like he is right there, I'm very proud of that. And just stand here and listen to his interview and everything, I'm just so proud of him.
And one of many players that you have that rarely comes off the field. Really have to be in good
Very
shape,
much.
have to be tough, have to be physically and mentally tough.
Absolutely. And when you play 3A football, you have a lot of two-way players, and they play offense, and they got to turn around and play defense, and then of course most of them are on the special team. So I mean, you see them before the game, halftime, and after the game, and that's about it.
All right, well, coming up this week, it is the region opener for the Welborn Panthers, kind of the start of a new season,
Absolutely.
if you will. And the opponent this week, Pleasant Valley, they had a really good showing last Friday night. We'll talk with Coach Smith about the challenge the Raiders present when we come back here on Panther Pride. And we're back on Panther Pride, and there you see this week's matchup. It's Pleasant Valley and Welborn, the region opener for the Welborn Panthers. The season within the season, if you will, begins really this Friday night, Coach. Pleasant Valley comes into the game at 1-1. They lost to Vincent in week 1, and then they beat Gaston last week 37-6. So they're coming off an impressive win last Friday night.
Well, they are, and they'll be on a high this week, and of course they're coming over to our field and playing, and it's the first region game, and we expect nothing but their best. I've always told our kids this: when we play anybody, we're going to get their best game, and that's a tribute to our kids and our program. That when anybody plays us, we're going to get the best they got, and we've got to be ready to get the best that we got when that happens.
Well, your guys should be ready for this game. Not only is it your region opener, but you're coming off 2 quality opponents. So your guys are tested, and other than just some general nicks and bruises, in pretty good health after these first 2 games.
Absolutely, and the thing that I like about it now is we're finally going to get to play teams our size. Like I said, from spring game to now, we've had to play up. now we're going to get to play some teams that are our size and in our classification in our region. And I think the games that we've participated in before that are going to do nothing but help us.
And needless to say, it's an understatement to talk about how tough this region is.
Absolutely.
So talk about how important it is to take each region matchup and try to get as many of these wins as you can.
Well, you can't look ahead. You've got to take each game at a time. You know, in Pleasant Valley, you know, we've already watched them and broke them down, and they're much improved from they were last year. And they're going to be a formidable opponent. They're going to come out there and they're going to give us everything they got. And if we don't willing to do the same thing back, right there, we'll come out with a loss. But you know, I am excited about now getting to play a team in our region, our size, because we played up for these last 3 outings that we've had, and I just got to believe that us playing up like we have has got to help us now.
And you've got an early homecoming. You got that this week. So talk about the challenges that presents.
Well, it is a challenge because, you know, homecoming, you know, we've got to make sure our players realize that homecoming is going to be for our alumni and our students and not for us. You know, the homecoming for us is just a game, and we've got to focus on the game and not the other activities going on with it. But, you know, we want as many of our alumni and our former players to come back. If you saw at our stadium, we've got a bunch of former player signs up on the fence. Actually, we've got it up to 50 now, where you can purchase a sign that's got your football number on it, your name, and what class you graduated in for $100, and that money goes in there to our football program. Our new scoreboard should be there for this game. It was supposed to be here this past week, but the weather held it back, and now they're going to come and set it this week. So there's going to be some exciting things happening on top of homecoming, and on top of it being a home game, and on top of it being our first region game.
All right, Coach, wish you the best of luck in your region opener and homecoming, as you said, and we'll be back again next week for all the highlights right here on Panther Pride. Thanks for joining us this week, and we'll see you again next week.